What is this? Why is there an empty spot? Where's the painting? The Mona Lisa was stolen? How long was it missing? Did the art thieves leave any clues? Nobody noticed the missing painting for at least one whole day. After that, the museum was closed down, while the police investigated many suspects, including Spanish painter Pablo Picasso. But the painting stayed missing for 2 years. The real thief was Vincenzo Perugia, and it was an inside job. He left no clues because he simply hid inside a closet during closing time, hid the painting under his work clothes, and walked out the next day when the museum opened back up. He got caught when he tried to sell the painting to Florence art dealer Alfredo Geri and art director Giovanni Pozzi. The art theft made the famous Mona Lisa a more famous painting in the world. Every year, over 6 million people visit the Louvre Museum in Paris, France to see Leonardo da Vinci's The Mona Lisa. The most famous painting in the world was created by the great Renaissance man himself, Leonardo da Vinci. Wow! Leonardo painted the Mona Lisa between 1503 and 1519. But who is she? She is La Gioconda. Leonardo was commissioned by Florence silk merchant Francesco del Giocondo to paint a portrait of his wife. When viewing the Mona Lisa, what do you notice? Is it her smile? Many have described her smile as mysterious, haunting, welcoming, and beautiful. When we want to read someone's feelings, we look at the corners of the mouth and eyes. But it is hard to tell what Mona Lisa's exact expression is. Why? Because Leonardo painted soft shadows in the corners of Mona Lisa's mouth and eyes to disguise her expression using sfumato technique. What is sfumato technique? Sfumato, when translated from Italian, means vanish or evaporate like smoke. It refers to the technique used in oil painting when colors are blended in a subtle manner that they melt into one another without transitions, lines, or edges. During the Renaissance, many artists focused on outlines, but Da Vinci concluded that people do not come with outlines in real life. So he painted Mona Lisa's form using a contrast of light and shadow. Da Vinci himself described the sfumato technique as light and shade should blend without lines or borders, in the manner of smoke or beyond the picture plane. For example, look at her hands. No lines were drawn, but instead created by gradually applying color to form light and shadow. Leonardo's use of sfumato created ambiguity in the corners of the mouth and the corners of the eyes. Mona Lisa was one of the first portraits to depict the subject in front of an imaginary landscape. The background landscape was created using aerial or atmospheric perspective with its smoky blues and no vanishing point. The background imbalance adds to the surreal atmosphere. The landscape showing depth helps put the focus on the woman. During the High Renaissance, artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Raphael tried very hard to learn from nature and to paint things in a way that was very realistic. These two famous painters both died around 1520. Many artists continued to work in the style of the High Renaissance, but not all. While the Reformation threw Northern Europe into turmoil, wars were waging across Italy. Perhaps it was these unsettled times that led to a shakeup in art style. Starting in 1520, a new movement called Mannerism gave art a new, anxious look. What is Mannerism? Mannerism is a style of art that was created in the late Renaissance period from 1520 to 1600. The word Mannerism comes from the Italian word maniera, meaning manner or style, but it was not used to describe the art style until 200 years later. The Mannerist style began in Italy, where artists were influenced by the figures in Michelangelo's Last Judgement, fresco painted in the Sistine Chapel. Look at the complex compositions with groupings having special meanings and the dynamic poses of exaggerated muscular nude figures. Although inspired by ancient Greek and Roman art, Mannerism art was more exaggerated and quite unusual. They did not follow the rules of anatomy or perspective the way Leonardo and Raphael did. The Mannerist style of painting often showed the human form as elongated and distorted. The aim of the Mannerist artist was to make art that looked elegant and graceful. To achieve that, figures tended to have strangely long arms, legs, and bodies, and very small heads in unnatural colors. The faces themselves often displayed strong emotions like sadness, fear, and hatred. The Mannerists didn't want to copy nature. They wanted to use the art of painting to express themselves. Painters in the Mannerist style were Tintoretto, Pontormo, Parmigianino, and El Greco, one of the most well-known Mannerists. El Greco is from Greece and his real name was Dominikos Theotokopoulos, but he lived and worked in Spain. He got the nickname El Greco, which means the Greek in Spanish. In 1560s, he traveled to Italy, where he studied painting styles of Italian artists. He mastered the elements of Renaissance painting, including perspective and human figures. He created many religious paintings for Roman Catholic churches and monasteries. But what he really wanted to do was to be able to express feelings and emotions through his painting, which sounds like a lot like contemporary art. Here he used color to show emotion and used garish lighting to give it a haunting feel. El Greco's paintings look like a picture of another world, totally different from a Renaissance painting. This looks so grotesque. There's no balance, no perspective. This painting is located at the Church of Santo Tomé in Toledo, Spain. It is based on the local legend of the Count of Orges' funeral. Two unexpected guests, Saint Stephen and Saint Augustine, descended from heaven to bury him with their own hands. The saint's appearance was in recognition of the Count's pious life as well as his generous donations to Toledo's religious institutions. The painting is divided into two parts, the heavenly salvation above and the earthly burial below. But because of its composition, there is very little feeling of duality. Let's take a look at the burial scene first. This is the Count of Orges. Do you see the two saints? They are wearing very detailed vestments and beautiful colors of gold and red. Everyone looks realistic and drawn to proportions. Do you see two faces looking directly at you? One is a self-portrait of El Greco himself. The other is Jorge Manuel El Greco's beloved, illegitimate son. Where is he pointing? What is the priest looking at? In the middle of the painting is the Count of Orgaz's spirit leaving his body and going up into heaven. Can you guess the purpose of the painting? It was important to do good deeds on earth so that your soul could go to heaven. And in heaven are Jesus, Mary, John the Baptist, and the disciples. Do you see Peter in the yellow robe holding the keys to the gates of heaven? Everyone in heaven looks elongated and distorted compared to the ones on earth. Greco's masterpieces had a profound effect on another artist. See this painting? Do you see the connections in composition between the various figures in the two paintings? Who painted the Evocation? Pablo Picasso. Picasso? The most important artist of the 20th century, Picasso? Yes! Picasso loved El Greco and made many paintings inspired from El Greco's works. El Greco was underestimated until the late 19th century, when his work was rediscovered and became a major influence on artists during both Cubism and Expressionism. He was one of the first great masters to choose imbuing feelings into his paintings as more important than showing reality. He was skilled in all things Renaissance and Mannerism, yet expressed his ideas and emotions like a modern contemporary artist. What do you think? Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.